Hey everybody, here is a quick video of me doing the Quiz 3 walkthrough for Gradescope. I'm going to start the assignment. And then question 1, factor the following quadratic expressions. Remember, you're not finding what x is equal to, you're just showing that the expression factors. So I'm factoring x squared plus 9x plus 20, and then 4 times 5 equals 20, and 4 plus 5 equals 9x equals 9. So on my other paper, I would be like, okay, x plus 4 times x plus 5. And then I'm going to type out my answer as x plus 4 parentheses x plus 5. You can probably type it like that, or you can put it in the double dollar signs. That's just what it looks nicer. Oops. And then we click off, and oh, that looks nice. Same deal here. 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. I'm trying to factor that. I'm looking for things that multiply to 3 times 1 is 3 and add to negative 4. It's going to be negative 3 and negative 1. Now remember, that's not how it factors. We would factor, so first, like this isn't actually, I would write my work down on paper, but I'm just going to show it to you here. So here's the work I would do. 3x squared minus x minus 3x plus 1. And then I would factor that by grouping, right? So then I would rewrite that as, so from the 3x squared minus x, I'd factor out an x. So I factor out an x. I'm left with an x times a 3x minus 1. And then from this other part, I factor out a negative 1. So I factor out a minus 1. I'm left with a 3x minus 1 inside. So I did my factor. Now again, that's all work you would do on paper. And then from each of these, I factor out the 3x minus 1. So my final answer would be 3x minus 1 times x minus 1. So I factor out the 3x minus 1. And I'm left with x minus 1. You should do all that work on a separate piece of paper. You don't have to do it, right? I'm not going to see you do it unless you want to make a video, which you shouldn't. There's my final answer. 3x minus 1 times x minus 1. Second question, find the solutions to these equations. So I'm trying to solve x squared plus 8x plus 12 equal to 0. I would do that by factoring. That definitely factors as x plus 6 times x plus 2 equal to 0, because 2 times 6 multiplies to 12, 2 plus 6 adds up to 8. So this isn't my answer, but that's how I would factor it. And then I would say, oh, my solutions are x equals negative 6 and x equals negative 2. So we can write our answers real easy. You could probably just write them as negative 6 and negative 2 if you wanted to, right? That would be fine. Or if you want to be a little fancier, you can be like, okay, x equals, right? But as long as you get the two numbers that are the answers, that's perfectly fine. For x squared plus 2x minus 5 equal to 0, that one does require the quadratic formula. So using the quadratic formula, I'm going to get x equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times a times c, which is 4 times 1 times negative 5, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. So that's going to be negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 1 times minus 5 is plus 20, all over 2. So I get negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 24 all over 2, which ends up being negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 times 6 all over 2, which is negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 6 all over 2, which is, divide each thing by 2, I get negative 1 plus or minus root 6. So I shouldn't write my answer like this, right? I shouldn't write my answer as like, say, negative 2 backslash PM for a plus or minus, slash backslash SQRT of 24. That's the top, right? I only wrote the top out there. I want to write that as a fraction, again, which is not right. And do the slash frac, put all that in the top, and then another one for the bottom. Right, there's my unsimplified answer, negative 2 plus or minus root 24 all over 2, which you can write as slash frac, all that stuff in the top, the backslash for PM for the plus or minus. But if I want to simplify that, again, you only need to put in your simplified answer. I'm just showing you how you would simplify this. It would be backslash frac negative 2 backslash PM for plus minus then it would be 2 /SQ. Whoops, I don't want that. No comments, please. SQRT, questionable content, just a comic I like to read. It's nothing questionable. Square root of 6, and then we would close the top and then open the bottom, put in the 2, close the bottom. If we click off of that, it looks like that, and then we divide each thing by 2. So our final simplified answer would be -1 /PM for plus minus, just /SQRT of 6. And that's our final answer, -1 plus or minus root 6. So your final answers for some of these might be in a fraction, like you might get something like -3 plus or minus root 5 all over 7, right? And you can't simplify that. Whereas this one, since it simplifies, we should simplify it all the way down to not being a fraction, but still having a plus or minus. And you could, for your final answer, just write x equals -1 plus or minus root 6, and that would be perfectly fine. You don't even need to have the x equals, you just need to have the 2 numbers, right? So that's 2 numbers, -1 plus root 6 and -1 minus root 6. All right, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or get in touch with me some other way. I'm happy to help out. Oh, and then you